here. Please bless everyone. Bless the food we're about to eat together. In your name, amen.
Amen.
So there's chicken, there's pizza,
There's all kinds of fun.
there's different pops, water, and that. Guys, you want to dish up?
All right.
I'll save all.
There's so many people who think that you don't say it, you don't find it.
All you need. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
there.
and I want to remember all those moments. When I made it, it was in my life series.
Well, that was a passport. God in another church, and my job was to serve peace. So I was visiting people, talking to people, preaching the gospel, and church food, and I never got involved in the politics of the church. We had some smart people that ran well, so it's easy to do this.
My house professor taught me to do, they use this way, I think I had 10 minutes, the theory of 5 minutes.
And the heavy drinker.
I'm sure one of the main things you guys came down here for your mission lessons. I do have to ask, has everybody been ordained to the NACM?
Secretary. I don't know. I don't know. I think it's more time than
Not really.
I watched him go through it and do it, and
And for you, what we can do is we can't do the actual coordination lesson, but
That's fine.
we can do a blessing though,
okay,
if you would like to have that.
I'm just here to support him, but I would love a blessing.
We can do that. For the ones that want the coordination one, if you guys would come up here and stand. Father God, thank you for calling many more workers into the harvest field. I praise you and give you glory for all that your servants will be doing in answering of your call to proclaim to all the peoples, the nations, tongues, and tribes that Jesus Christ is the Lord and Savior. I pray that the presence of your Holy Spirit be a constant source of wisdom and comfort. Father God, I commit these servants to you. I have some questions for you guys. You can say yes or no. Do you believe that God has called you to the life and work of an ordained minister?
Yes.
Will you be loyal to the calling of God to serve as an ordained minister of the gospel, defending it against all doctrines contrary to God's holy word, committing yourself to be accountable to to all whom you may serve, and all of those who may serve with you.
Yes.
Moved by your love for God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and your committed desires to proclaim the message of redemption through Jesus Christ, are you now prepared to take upon yourself this holy ministry and to serve faithfully as a servant of God?
Yes.
Will you daily present yourself as a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your reasonable act of worship? And will you strive to be transformed by the renewing of your mind through the reading of scriptures, that you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God?
Yes.
Will you daily seek from the Holy Spirit the power to minister effectively, discernment of mind to know the will of the Lord, the strength of character to pursue with diligence, the goal of spiritual maturity, and the humbleness of the heart that you might develop a deeper personal relationship with Jesus Christ, and declare with all compassion and understanding the message of reconciliation?
Yes.
We're almost done. Will you commit yourself to the proclamation of the complete message of Jesus Christ to the body, mind, spirit of men and women at home and abroad, or wherever the Lord might lead you, until he comes again, or until such time as you are taken up into his presence?
Yes.
And lastly, will you be faithful to uphold the values and beliefs held by the National Association of Christian Ministers, as long as you remain ordained by the NACM and or remain in the NACM membership?
Yes.
I'll start with you on this side. I bless you, Dave, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, for the purpose of carrying the gospel of Jesus Christ to a lost and dying world. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Amen. Paul. Bless you, Paul, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, for the purpose of carrying the gospel of Jesus Christ to a lost and dying world. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Amen.
Amen.
I bless you, Jeannie, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, for the purpose of carrying the gospel of Jesus Christ to a lost and dying world. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Amen. You guys just have a seat for a moment. Mary, if you want to have your blessing right now. I bless you, Mary, in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit, for the purpose of carrying the gospel of Jesus Christ to a lost and dying world. The Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. And may the Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. Amen. How do you spell your last name?
B-R-U-N-S.
Can you answer those?
B-R-U-N-S. Berg, B-E-R-G.
got just a little keepsake for you guys. I was gonna do a sermon, since time kinda got away with us. We're going to kind of skip to, Greg got a short Bible reading, and then we're gonna do some testimonials. Turn it over to our other elder, Greg Muller.
I was actually gonna give a sermon today on Matthew 28. Where two or more together in our name, I'll be there. But I want to change it up a bit here. I was in prayer 2 nights ago, actually. I've been working all week on this sermon. See this immaculate offering introduction. And in prayer, asking, help me deliver the message good. Came to me, I'm going to give you my testimony. And I guess the Holy Spirit wants to run it this way, so that's the way I'm going to run it. When I guess I was about 13 years old. It was a summer day, I think it was in August. We were playing football up at our elementary school in my town, along the side there. And the coach's kid was playing quarterback on the other team. We're that young, we gotta have all, the huddle took about 5 minutes. I'm in the backfield, playing safety. And so I'm daydreaming, wait for his injury play to kick off. But I heard this voice, and it said, "You're going to be a minister." And I heard it as clear as if any one of you were talking to me right here. I turn around. I think I'm nuts. I'm losing it. And so I didn't think much of it. Then, as time went, I was never very good at school. It's not that I'm not smart enough or whatever, it's just it bored me to tears. But when I went to confirmation class, it just happened my church had all the bright kids, guys that went to all the good colleges later on. But I smoked them in that, and I don't even know why. It wasn't that I studied. It was I think the Holy Spirit was setting me up, set me up for the kill, I guess. And, a couple of years later, I was introduced to alcohol and marijuana. Yeehaw. I'm an alcoholic. I'm a hardcore alcoholic, recovering. I have been recovering for about 14 years, give or take. I served in the Army during the Persian Gulf. I was a cavalry scout. We were the ones that reached the wall of Saddam's. We reached the 9-foot line. The rest of the Army was behind us. And there's one point where we're already in Iraq. Our commander came up and said, we have to scout for 1st Armor Division for, I believe, 29th Heavy Armor Iraqi Brigade, Republican Guard. Intelligence says 3 out of 4 of you boys are dead after the end of the day. It says it's the casual rate. We're supposed to, if they say punch them in the nose and go around them, but we're going to take 75% casualties. But we got to spot these guys for the 1st Armor Division. 1st Armor Division, big boys, you know. And so I was a driver of it's actually called a Cat B. It's an ammo carrier for a howitzer, self-howitzer. And we're driving, and the chaplain had given us prayers just prior to Arthur. Gave me a rosary beads, you know, and I'm not Catholic, you know, I'm not Catholic, but I had it hanging there, I thought, well, cool, kind of like fuzzy information or whatever. But I pray now. I'm praying as we're driving. I'm praying as we're driving. I know by the end of the day I could be a dead man. So I prayed that the first time since the time when I was talking about when we played football, you know. And I prayed that, okay, God, now if I gotta die, don't let me die a coward. You know, everybody goes, oh, I will. You never know what's in combat. You never know. You know, you never know how you're going to react. I did not want to run away from my responsibility. And that same voice came to me that day. The same voice that when I was playing football as a 13, 14-year-old. The 2 words, fear not. And I do not know how to describe this, but those 2 words was a library of information. I don't know how God does it. It's His greatness that He can, 2 words and, hey, I know all this stuff. It did not mean I was not going to die. It did not mean I was going to be a coward. It meant I was in His hands. He was going to carry me through this, you know, from hell or high water. And as a side note, as we were approaching these Republican Guard Heavy Armor Brigade, they knew we were coming. They dug in. And it just happened that a freak sandstorm came up. And when we spotted them and threw the first punch, we were behind them. And they would have smoked us if not for that sandstorm and us getting a little confused and coming up behind them because they were dug in. We did not have a target otherwise. It was just kind of a miracle, I think. Okay, now I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Now I get out of the Army. I'm 10 years out of the Army. Well, my alcoholism starts kicking back in. I started having nightmares about all this. You know, the war is a terrible thing, man. Some of the stuff you see is you really try to forget that you can't. And so I started drinking again to forget because I wasn't sleeping at night. So the only way I can get any sleep is I drink myself into oblivion. Well, that's not working. So I go to the doctor. He prescribed me some drugs. I don't know what they are, but well, that wasn't working. So I'm combining the 2. That doesn't work. All that did was give me blackouts. And one particular, the last night I drank was, I don't even remember drinking, but I remember going out, having about 2 beers, and that's, you know, next thing I know, I woke up in jail, a screaming lunatic. Because my Army teaching, we're not being taken alive. You know, they kill me, I'm not being captured, I'm not being tortured. And being in a jail cell, just it was, I can't deal with that. But deputy, he seemed fit to send me to a rehabilitation rehab thing. It was a Christian base. And where I got in touch with Jesus again. And I knew, I had met my wife at that time, future wife. I knew going into the marriage, I cannot be drinking. That it's a deal breaker. And I didn't want that to happen. So what, I went to the treatment. It was Christian based, you know, they kind of an AA thing, you know, pray to your higher power, you know, my higher power is the door. Sorry, not Jesus, whatever. And when I got out, I haven't touched things since that night they threw me in jail. I'm managed to grow my dreams. And I don't know how many years we were in our marriage, but I was in bed. We were both in bed. And that voice, that same voice that had come to me on the elementary playground, that same voice in that judgment rack came, he said, it's time. Now, like I said, it's like a library of information on him. I can't explain this, but I knew the time was, he wanted me to be able to minister in the beginning. And I'd blown all that out, you know. And I'm not one of those that subscribe to predestination or not, or free will, or whatever. I think it's all combined. But that's just me. And but I think this was predestined, to tell you the truth. He told me it's time, 2 words again. And I knew that meant, hey, it's time to get off your butt. It's time to get to work, to be a minister. And like I said, you know, I went to school for electronics. But I had no idea. I thought you had to put in, you know, 8 years of seminary, you know, ordained to be a preacher. You know, to me, being a preacher at that time meant that you had to run a big church, like the Methodist church or Catholic church, whatever, whichever you flavor. I didn't understand what the ministry meant. But now after that, I did. My eyes rolled it, you know. And through NACM, I was able to achieve those goals. I knew I didn't know anything about the Bible. I read it before and stuff, you know. I always had trouble with the Old Testament with names, you know. As a guy, or whatever, you know. But following Jesus actually opened the doors with NACM. Out of the blue, it was right there. It got me into classes. I'm working on my Bachelor of Divinity right now. I still got like grade to take and more, you know. But it had opened the doors, and well, that's my testimony. And here we are today. You know, we're in NACM, able to participate in this, and I think this is awesome. You guys getting ordained. You know, I mean, I was going to, in my sermon, I was going to give a illustration of what would you take. Would you take, if I were to offer you $1 million in 30 days, if I was to offer you $1 million, or if I was to offer to give you a penny and I'll double that every single day, after in the 30 days, which would you take? Well, it turns out if I give you a penny and double it every day, in 30 days, it's like $5,386,000 and some change, you know. And my point is, today, look at who was ordained here before. Just a little while ago. Me and Chris. I don't know, maybe
I was ordained, but I hadn't had
Well, I guess my point is, just in today, we have, in this room, we have only double those who
That was my illustration. I had it written down, so I'll write it. But, thanks.
I was raised Lutheran. And on my day of confirmation, as I took those vows, I took them very seriously. And that was the day that I committed myself to Christ and promised to live the rest of my life in the Christian faith. And as life went on, I went to college, went to seminary, became a clinically trained chaplain. I served 3 parishes. I've been a hospital chaplain, a rehab chaplain, a mental health chaplain. In the last 20 years of my life, I specialized in addiction. Now in my retirement, I have a new ministry. I'm starting what I call Recovery Worship America. My last ministry in Fargo, North Dakota was I started a ministry for people that didn't like to go to church. And that group of people are 12-step people who are in 12-step recovery because they don't like to live traditional religion. So I started this church for them, and it was very successful. And it's a functioning congregation right now. There's a Methodist pastor serving it. So now my ministry is to start recovery worship ministries all over the nation. And I've got one going in Ohio and one in Houston. And I have another 10 or so people who are interested in it. A couple of vignettes I want to share. One, I was never one that really knew at the time that I accepted a position that this was the will of God. Well, I hear people say, I know that God wanted me to do this. And they heard some type of a voice. I never had that. But I had a sense of call to ministry. And as I look back, I can look back and I can see that God wanted me here, and then here, and then here. I suppose the thing that happened was that I was just kind of obedient to the call, even though I never really understood. You know, Moses received a call from God, and he didn't think himself capable, and I don't think he really understood what that involved, but he finally signed up, and we know what happened. But I think God calls us in various ways to various ministries, and despite the fact that sometimes we may not understand everything, I am one that says, if you have a call, be obedient, because God is calling you. When I was a rehab chaplain in the state of Virginia, we missed Minnesota. We had 3 kids. They did not know their cousins. They did not really know their grandparents that well. So I tried to get a job in Minnesota, and I couldn't. I wanted a chaplaincy job, and I couldn't get one. I came in second to a lot of different places. So finally I said, okay, God, give me a church to serve. And so my name was given to a call committee of the people in Boston. And they didn't want to spend the money to fly me back for an interview. So they interviewed me over the phone. And this was back in a day when communication was not as sophisticated as it is today. In the church, around the conference table, they had a squawk box where they supposedly could hear me and then they could talk into, and I would hear on the telephone in Virginia. After it was all over, I didn't know what would happen. And then my wife said to me, "Did you realize how angry you were on the first half of that interview?" I said, "No." "See, you were angry." Sometimes others can see in us things that we can't see in ourselves. They sent me a call. I took the call to Foster. I'd been there about 6 months, and I asked the president of the congregation, who had been in that call committee meeting, I said, could you hear how angry I was in the first half of that? He said, no. On the first half of the interview, there was a lot of static on the line, and we had a hard time understanding you. I mean, it was like God was filtering out my anger, so they didn't hear it. And that, I can tell you many more stories that has happened to me many times, where I've been someplace else that God has taken care of me and somehow got me in the right place, even though maybe I didn't understand all the time. So now, as I look back, I'm just really a grateful person. I'm grateful to God, I'm grateful to Jesus, I'm grateful to the church, I'm grateful to the people I serve, and I'm grateful to you. If you, in any of your ministries, ever think that you want to, or know somebody who would want to start a ministry for chemically dependent, I'm the guy to talk to. I know them, and I know their language, and I know everything that you were talking about. I've listened to lots of fifth steps.
But when you said that, I thought, man, the irony.
Yeah, the irony. I mean, and in my last ministry, which I started this church for people who didn't like to go to church, it was really successful. I learned a new phrase, and I shared that. The people had a way of saying that if something was providential, they would call that a God thing. Well, you know, I've had a lot of God things in my life. And I know each of you has too, who are here today, because we are kindred spirits. And we come in different backgrounds and different traditions, but we are all Christians, and we want Jesus to be known, everybody in the world to be known to Jesus. So that's a little of my story. I want to thank you for being here today so I can come and do this. And I wish all of you the very best, and God's blessing upon you.
Nobody else wants to get up there and talk? I guess I better talk for a while. I was born and raised in a Catholic church. You know, we did the whole catechism thing, church every Sunday, the whole 9 yards. But there was something that was always missing. I could just never put my finger on it. Well, I was probably 9 or 10 years old. He had a little farm accident. He ran the grain elevator into one of the main transmission power lines, 75,000 volts. Took out Dad and myself. Well, when I went down, I can still remember to this day, I kept hearing somebody say that we're not done yet, we got a lot of work to do. I thought it was my dad. Well, when he came to, when he hit the ground, it started his heart back up. He went over and got mine going. And I asked him, did you tell me that? Did you ask him? Did you tell me we got a lot of work to do? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. And something in the back of my mind kept, over the years, kept replaying that over and over. And I went through confirmation, whole 9 yards, Catholic school. Well, I was one of them wild teenagers. I got a 9-year-old daughter because of that. The Catholic Church doesn't agree with things like that at all. I was asked to leave. Not very nice. So over the years, religion just, I had no interest in it because of that. There was still that nagging voice in the back of my head that says, "You got a lot of work to do." Well, I was probably early 30s. I kept hearing that same voice. "You got a lot of work to do. When do you get to start?" So I started my doctorate degree. Got about halfway through it, and tragedy struck home pretty hard. I lost both my boys in a drowning accident. Of course, something like that happens, you blame God. Why'd you let this happen? You know, what's the point? He kept telling me, you got a lot of stuff to do. That's a wake-up call. Grieving parent, you don't understand those kind of things. Like that. So it was quite a few years. And the call was just, it was getting really loud almost every day. You need to go back and finish that degree. So I did. My wife knew nothing about it. I was down for the last final exam. And she come home from work one day and I said, we need to have a talk. She's like, okay, what's this about? I said, well.
Mind you, I'm cooking supper.
She says, how'd you feel about being married to a pastor? She got this really blank look on her face. She says, no, Gus, tell me I need to do this now. I said, I'm just waiting for the final exam to come back. I said, I should have my doctorate degree and my ordination should be coming through. Then, what, a couple weeks, got the degree in the mail. So yeah, that I got my ordination certificate. God led me to start Eagles Wings of Bentley Church. Little home church. It's not real big. We do what we can do. But 5 years ago, tragedy kind of struck again. I got sick. I got really sick. I couldn't walk near this first bench. It was that bad. Couldn't breathe. did what they could. Got me in right heads. Sent me to the Mayo Clinic in Rochester. We went down there, met with the doctor, and had a whole bunch of tests. Doctor come in. My wife was not real happy with that doctor. He had no bedside manner. He come in and says, well, your lungs are in pretty bad shape. He says, your only hope to live is transplant. Without it, for 6 months. That's a little over 5 years ago.
6 years in December.
6 years? 5 years. 6 years ago. Technically, I'm supposed to be on oxygen. It's actually back here in case I need it. I prayed to God this morning, in the spring. I don't have to carve around oxygen all day. So far, so good. And if it wasn't for God, I know I wouldn't be here today. He's keeping me going. Every day, I wake up, thank God I'm still here. He's still got things for me to do. You know, joining the NACM. 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago, big time really lost me. They've been really good. I've gone through a lot of their different training programs. You know, the theological mentorship program. I don't know if any of you guys have done that yet.
Right.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
It's interesting. Makes you think about it.
You know, have you tried leadership all one-on-one?
Going through all that.
You got through that? 2 really good classes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different groups out there. They have, you know, prison ministry groups. They have outside church group for all the people that don't like to go to church. And they have a lot of different things if you can find them. Some things are a little hard to find on their website. Greg and I were just talking about that. We were sitting over here. Some of the things you've got to click on different pages, click links, and get to. Some of it's kind of a real hassle to get to. But there's a lot of us elders, more so now than what we've had for a long time. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to call. You can send us emails. I mean, you guys are all here. You got my card has my actual phone number and email, personal emails. I'm always here if you guys have any questions. They have a lot of good things on there for people to get them started in the right direction. Sure nobody else wants to come up here and talk?
As far as trying to get a hold of Chris, if he doesn't answer, text him, because you just have kind of a rough signal sometimes.
I'm Dave. I'm not much of a preacher, so this will be short, but I guess I just wanted to share a little bit about myself. I guess I'm very different in that I haven't had anything specific happen. There hasn't been any aha moment. Like you, I grew up Catholic, and we did all the right things. Had an aunt that was a nun, uncle that was a deacon. Went through confirmation, those sorts of things, and I questioned everything. And that got me in trouble. To the point where I just was like, you know what, this isn't my thing. And I didn't leave, I didn't stop believing in God. I just didn't believe in what I was being taught. So the thought was, oh, I need to try a different church. And what does that mean to a Catholic? You go to another Catholic church. And I kept running into the same thing. And finally I was just like, oh, there must not be anything else to go see. So that was when I was, 17 years old, I guess, 18. Moved to California, got into party life, got into a lot of trouble, that sort of thing, but I still believed in God. I just didn't talk to him. When I was about 24, that's when I met some special people out on the West Coast, and I got baptized as an adult. And nothing, again, there was no aha moment, but it was me being obedient. And that meant just a lot for me in my walk in going in a different direction. And then I found through these same people, wow, that there's other churches other than the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church is fine for a lot of people. It just wasn't working for me. But anyways, I've always questioned what I'm supposed to be doing, and most of the time, God makes me wait. And I wait. And I'm not a very patient person. I like it. When I want to do something, I get it done. If I want to build my basement completely different, I go down and do it, and it's done. That's just who I am. I like having boots on the ground and going. Got into different church leadership roles. Done just about everything I wanted to do, but I always felt like I'm not accomplishing much. I don't see any fruits of what I'm doing. I'm not baptizing people. I'm not doing anything. It's just I'm standing here in the church waiting for people to come in, and I'm helping Christians be Christians, I guess, which isn't a bad thing, but God keeps telling me there's healthy dirt out there. Go get your hands dirty. So that's what my wife and I have been doing over the past few years. We are starting from the ground up with we started with 8 other people, jail ministry. We've gone through getting all the federal paperwork and all that good stuff done, but we're also doing a lot of other important things that's actually touching people's lives right now. And I'm not the kind of person, I'm not the one at the jail, but I'm one that can help put together the legal paperwork. I can help organize things. I can do computer things. My wife has her special gifts. We have other people in this organization. Everybody's got a gift, and when we come together, great things happen. It's cool. Individually, we can't get anything done, but together, it's like, wow. So it's really cool to watch this all happen. We're just getting started. So with NACM, it was just more for me. I needed to reach out, find other Christians outside of the church building walls that were like-minded, and I found a lot of that. And with the leadership hall training, mentorship training, I need that sort of mentorship that I wasn't getting in the church. Just to be able to go, hey, think about this. Go look these things up. It forces me to do work that I normally wouldn't do, so it's a good thing. So I just appreciate that you put this together, and that we're able to meet, and I look forward to this in the future too. So, thank you.
How about a couple points? Have you joined the prison ministry group?
No, I've looked around on it, but I haven't.
Another one that both of you could actually join that one, and also the chaplain program. You can get certified, you become a certified chaplain.
Okay.
We have that. You can join that group too.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of neat, different things you can learn through that. You get certified, and then you have another chaplain one that you can join after you get certified, and it breaks a lot of things down. The prison ministry one would be good for both of you guys to join, and maybe the outside church one too. There's a lot of different programs that are within the NACM. A lot of people don't know where they're at. If you actually go down, if you go onto the main page, and you click, and you see all the columns on the right-hand side, there's a section way down the bottom, it says groups. You can click on to view all, and it'll bring all of them. It's like 4 pages of groups.
And there's a couple of good modules that you have to pay for too, like Unsaintly Saints, and also Domestic Violence. I just did that one. They're good.
And the Unsaintly Saints one's great. I just finished that a month or so ago. That was a he doesn't know, he'll go to Michael Moon, the president. And apparently we've tackled another milestone. We actually have corporate headquarters now,
What is that?
South Carolina. We both did pictures on the NACM.
Field trip.
Yep. So we get in last, what are we up to for members now?
I just seen it the other day too.
16,000?
I think it's more than that. I'm thinking 23, but I could be wrong.
Number changes every day. We've got ministers all over the world. I went through the mentorship program. One of my teammates was in Australia. And so you'll meet a lot of different people on there. I mean, we got close enough for you to talk on Skype every morning. Because I got up early, well, that was his evening time. So we talked on Skype, go over our assignments. It was awesome. The Teresa, the lady from Leadership Hall, she was they were gonna surprise her with a trip out here, but they couldn't quite swing in time to get her out here with us today. That would have been awesome. She's in Zealand. We've got mentors all over the world.
They need to change it to International Association of Christians, right?
We do have, international part right now. We do have, I don't know if anybody has seen on there, Elder Freewater. He's in Nigeria. He's actually has a Bible college that he started. If you get over there, you can take his Bible college and get all the degrees. It doesn't cost you anything. He doesn't charge anybody any money for it. And he
Because
gets,
you gotta go to the
and you got anything want to say? I mean, Jeannie, if you want to,
Okay.
so you've got a good little ministry going,
Well, the Lord's got a good little ministry going.
but it's in your hands. He's guiding you.
He's guiding us all over there. And the Lord has just shown me one thing, okay? I'm not gonna be all big on myself because I'm nothing, honestly, I'm nothing without Christ. I'm just another person on the street with Christ. Through the power of the Holy Spirit, a lot of things can be accomplished. And once in a while, I get asked to talk at different places. And it's almost like people are, well, I want to be, a minister. I want to do street evangelism like you do. I want to do this. And it's like they're asking for permission. We've already got permission. Going to all the world, make disciples of all men. And even you youngsters there, yeah, I know you're young adults, but I'm grandma, you guys are kids to me. You've got to call in your life. If you call yourself by his name, if you're a Christian, you have a calling in your life. And it's important that you follow that calling. He'll let you know. There was a time when Miriam and Aaron, these are brother and sister of Moses, went and decided, they're going to do, all this stuff, Well, God came and called them out on it, and a pillar of fire appeared right in front of their tent. Believe you me, I'm sure all those Hebrews are like, good God, but God literally spoke to them and said, I will, I've got a calling on Moses' life. I've even seen him face to face. I haven't seen him face to face. I think I'd probably melt. But I guess that's the fear of the Lord. But he literally told Aaron and Miriam, if I've got a calling on somebody's life, I'll personally go and tell them myself. And he has my brothers here that are ordained. And anyone who knows they have a calling on their life, they reach out to God. James, the 4th chapter says, if we draw near to him, he will in turn draw loves us so much. But we all have calling, and you all have an ordination. Maybe it's not the hands-on yet, maybe it's not the schooling part yet, but there is a calling. The first person I led to the Lord, I was only 12 years old. I didn't even know there was a calling in my life. My girlfriend and I were out selling Tupperware because her mother was poor, raising 6 children, 5 or 6 children all alone. And my girlfriend and I would sell Tupperware to help her get a little extra money in the household. And I didn't think I had any kind of a calling in my life, but I did, and I do. And so do everybody who calls themselves Christian. We all do. And that's my testimony in a nutshell. We're all called. We are all called. If we love Jesus, if we believe in Jesus, and if we died to self and started living for Him, there's a calling. And it's up to us to take that next step. Jesus took the first step. He died in our stead. It's up to us to take that next step.
I guess I'll close her up now. I want to thank you guys. You guys have been a blessing in my life. In fact, I want to speak for Chris, and I'm going to say the same thing. I think what Chris was saying, there's a lot of good groups there that, you know, because each of us has a different call, you know, whatever it may be. And it's there. Our Father, we pray in Jesus' name. We give thanks to you for helping make this a good day. You have more people in the fold now. We pray as we close this today that everybody gets home safe. I know a lot of us have driven quite a ways away. We thank you.
Good night. The way we closed our recovery worship service was with the Lord's Prayer, and we're in a circle and held hands. Can we do that? Your family. Let's close hands and pray together the Lord's Prayer.
There we go. That works.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. And one more thing. After the Lord's Prayer, we all say, God be with you till we meet again. Could you do that? God be with you till we meet again.
We used to sing.
You don't want to hear me.
Well, now wait a minute, I got a voice that only tiny baby was in Jesus appreciates, but I'm willing to bellow it.
But I really appreciate you guys taking time to come down today. Some of you had to drive for a ways to get here. I really appreciate it. Feel free to sit around and fellowship. If you guys gotta go, you can take traffic home ahead. We have the building until 5, so.
I think next year, I think everybody should be required to bring a guest outside of your family and outside of the ministry.
Okay.
Good idea.
Cool? Just to introduce more people to the NACM.
Well, thank you for providing this today.
Awesome,
Organizing
awesome.
it.
Thank you so much.
This is very
I
welcome.
look forward to meeting more people in NACM. I've always felt like Lone Ranger out there, not knowing anybody.
Yeah, that's been a godsend for me.
Yeah.
Being able to talk to a lot of different like-minded people. We used to have, which I'm hoping will start up again, actual prayer meetings on the NACM every Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday night. We got to get through a little bit. We had a good following. We had special services, we had communion services, different prayer services. It was really nice to get to know a lot of different people, hopefully we can convince the executive elders to get that going again.
If you can think of anybody, contact me.
Yeah, I will.
Somebody, if there's a tech program at like the tech school where they're doing some of those, if you're texters,
And, do you use a computer yourself at all?
not much.
Okay. Well, if you
Computer.
know somebody that uses a computer, usually him would focus that. Nowadays, you can go to the web.
Just there, one.
So that's very easy to build. And yeah, and there may be some people that they don't know how to read and look into that because it used to be years ago where you had to know how to do a lot of different things that most people don't, but now it's pretty user friendly.
Yeah, well, we'll look into that.
Yeah, okay.
And nice to meet you.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. You too.
And,